sponsored by St. Paul AME Church, the concerned clergy and community leaders of Akron, ASME Local 1360, the Barberton Norton Wadsworth Peace Group, and the Northeast Ohio American Friends Service Committee. My name is Joe Mosioski. I'm a member of the AFSC Northeast Ohio Economic Empowerment and Justice Committee. I've been on the committee for a long time. I'd like to, first of all, thank all the sponsoring groups, and I'd like to give a special thank you to Reverend Bruce Butcher, the pastor of St. Paul AME Church, and all the members for hosting this event. Pastor Butcher, would you please come up and give some opening welcome and remarks?
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We are so very glad, first on behalf of the officers and members of St. Paul African Methodist Episcopal Church, we are glad to have you here this morning for the purpose of speaking to our policymakers about the matters that interest and affect us the most. If you don't know about African Methodism, we started over 200 years ago out of a social protest. And we have been, for 200 years, we have been leaders in social protest in the quest for equality for all. And so we're here today for the same purpose. We continue the legacy of activism, and we are hopeful that today that this hearing would be meaningful, especially to the persons who are representatives, that they might just take a moment to listen to the people. So again, we hope that you're comfortable, and as the host, we're trying to make things comfortable for you, and we're hopeful that that this hearing will be fruitful and meaningful in the sense that we will have a chance to listen and talk, and hopefully to affect change that will help us in a positive way. So thank you, and I'm glad to serve as your host.
Thank you, Reverend Butcher. I'd also like to introduce and thank the panelists for attending today. Representing U.S. Representative Martha Fudge is Ginger Baylor. Representing U.S. Representative Tim Ryan is Chris Couples. And representing U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown is Beth Thames. Other representatives and senator was invited, but they either failed to respond or failed to show up or send a rep. Their name tags are here. I'd like to start out now with a short video, a 2-minute video from Senator Sherrod Brown.
I'm Sherrod Brown, a United States Senator. I'm sorry I can't join you for this important discussion on saving our federal safety net. To all the sisters and brothers of ASME Local 1360, to the Barberton Norton Wadsworth Peace Group, thank you for convening this public hearing. America's clergy have a long history of advocating for justice and for peace. I'd like to thank the American Friends Service Committee, the concerned clergy and community leaders of Akron, and St. Paul AME Church for coming together around one of the most important and major social justice issues of our era. Federal budget's a moral document. It's a promise from the federal government to communities that we're in this together. We're interconnected. That's why I'm fighting for a single parent who relies on SNAP benefits so that she can continue to feed her children. In the words of Frederick Douglass, it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. I'm fighting to stop Stafford's student loan interest rates from doubling so college students can graduate without being so deep in debt that they're forced to postpone having a family, buying a car, starting a business. I'm fighting to help our small business owners access the resources they need to hire workers to strengthen our economy. At no point, let me be clear, will I sacrifice seniors or students, Social Security or Medicare, to pay for extra handouts to millionaires and billionaires. That's happened too often. It's not right. It's not just. Today, you have an opportunity to find new ways to ensure that our budget is fair for working class and middle class families and to for low-income families. I want to hear from you. Please reach out to Beth Timms from my office, who joins you there today. And contact us if you need to at 1-888-896-OHIO. That's 1-888-896-6446. Thank you for all that you do for our communities.
Now, if we could get the screen removed and then the panelists can come up and take their place. While that's happening, I'd like to start out with a short civics lesson, 5th grade civics, and then we'll discuss the format of today's event. I downloaded a governmental flow chart of the United States of America, and it says right here that the very top is the U.S. Constitution. So I brought a little copy of the U.S. Constitution. I'd like to read the opening remarks. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish the Constitution of the United States of America. So we can say towering over the Constitution is we the people. Now back when the Constitution was first created, people was a kind of a different term. It meant white male property owners. But through a series of amendments, that has changed and has certainly become a lot more inclusive. Now, so inclusive, however, that over the years, the Supreme Court and moneyed interests and Supreme Court rulings has stated that corporations are people. So what we have today is this. Again, this is a 5th grade civics lesson, but we now have above the Constitution, initiated by we the people. Well, corporations are now people. So you can have a foreign-owned corporation heavily in debt. And I don't believe corporations pay any inheritance tax because they never die. So they're up on top here, and I'm not sure our founding fathers intended that to be the case. We have to question. I know they had a limited view of what people were through the amendment process. That has morphed into something a lot better for society as a whole. But this is a little problem here because they have a lot of money. And that's the next thing I want to mention. The Supreme Court has also said that recently that money is speech. Now, I don't believe that for a minute, because if you don't have money, you don't have the right to speak.
Right.
And I think maybe they just want you to go back to your $2 $8 an hour jobs without benefits and keep your mouth shut. And we're not going to do that, and that's why this forum is so important, and I thank everybody for coming out today. A little civics lesson, but I just want to set the table.
Very good.
Now, the last presidential election, we even had a presidential candidate that agreed that corporations are people. But he also didn't know the difference between luggage and the family pet, so let's just leave it at that. So now, you people, we the people, are up against formidable competition because of what we have here. You're up against not only the military-industrial complex, which was warned got a warning from Dwight David Eisenhower way back in the 50s, late 50s. But today we now have the medical industrial complex, we have the pharmaceutical industrial complex, we have the higher educational industrial complex, and we have the bank and insurance industrial complex. And that leaves everybody else pretty much in debt. And I don't necessarily like that. I think this needs to be taken away. It doesn't belong there. It was never intended to be there. We need to get back to, we the people created the Constitution. It's for the people. Corporations aren't people. A stack of papers is not the same as you or you or you or you or me. It's so much less. But today we want to hear from you. So our format is going to be fairly fast-paced. We want to get everybody in. And first we're going to allow the sponsoring organizations 5 minutes of say. Then we're going to have the other people that have signed up. We give them 3 minutes. And we do have a timekeeper. We want to get everybody in here, but I think that shouldn't be a problem.
Vicki, raise your hand. Vicki's the time.
I'm the timekeeper.
Okay.
With the assistant timekeeper here.
Oh,
Okay. All right. Yeah, everybody that signs up, we want to hear from you. Now, again, the panelists can take their place up at the front there, if you would, please. And then if we have time at the end, we'll go through a question and answer session. So please sign in to speak, and we'll call you in the order that you've signed in. But first, we're going to start with the sponsoring organizations. And again, thanks to everyone here for giving up their Saturday morning to come and speak, which is not only their right, it's their duty by virtue of our Constitution. Thank you.
who wants to start?
Okay, the first speaker,
I can start.
okay, the Barbara Norton Wadsworth Peace Group. Got Vicki Armstrong.
Find myself, yes.
Go ahead. Okay.
So is that? Okay. Thank you, Joe. Thanks for everybody coming out. The Barbara Norton Wadsworth Peace Group is an open peace group. We meet the fourth Thursday of 9 months. We don't meet during the summer. At the Grace United Church of Christ in Loyal Oak. And we invite you all to join us. The main theme of our peace group is bringing peace and justice to the world, especially to the United States and Ohio and our communities. And we do that through educational meetings. We have a speaker every time, vigils, marches, and one of the founding members is here, and that's Adele Looney, and her husband, John T. Looney, was very prominent in the peace community for many years, and did a whole program on combating violence and bullying and in the schools and in the community. I want to say that I am really honored to be part of this group because I'm one of the younger members, and I'm going to be 70 pretty soon. These people have been out working for peace their entire lives, and we want more people to come join us to keep this going. One of the things that we always look at is, where is the money going? And the money is going, unfortunately, we see, to the military, much more so than any social program. And when we have enormous military budgets, when we have 1,000 military bases around the world, when we have people who are quasi-military, working around the world, supposedly for our interests, but we don't know what they're really doing, then it's time for the people to take charge again. And that's one of the things that we would like to do. Because what do we need? What do we need in this country? We need our social programs. As I said, I'm almost 70. I'm on Social Security. I'm on Medicare. My husband has a lot of health problems, and if it weren't for Medicare, frankly, we would be broke. And I think that almost everybody in this room understands that if these programs go away, that really there is going to be a huge upheaval in this country. Huge upheaval in this country. So to keep the peace, we need to have our representatives and our senators say enough. This is enough. And we want you to take that message back that these programs are for the people want them overwhelmingly, and to keep peace in this country and around the world, we need to change our program. And our program should be people first, people first, people first. Thank you.
Well said.
Okay, next we'd like to hear from George Johnson, Local 1360, AFSCME.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'd like to thank everyone for showing up, our panelists, and one of our local politicians, Frank Communell, showed up. That's a good sign for our community. I'm George Johnson. I'm the president of AFSCME Local 1360 City of Akron employees. I represent the maintenance employees here in the city of Akron. And I was asked to speak on this issue based upon what the union's point of view. And first of all, I'd like to read a quote from International President Lee Saunders, who's a little bit more involved in this at the federal level than I am. His office is in Washington, D.C. And I would love to plagiarize this statement, but Lee, who's a good friend of mine, I'm not going to do that. But and this kind of just sums it up all together when he said this. We were emailing about this back and forth the other day, and he said, this is a little like Peter being robbed to pay Paul. And in this case, Paul is doing really well, and Peter is just trying to pay his bills. I mean, that I don't really need to say anything else. You know, that's the case, you know, but we can talk about things like the $530 billion tax cuts the wealthy Americans get. We can talk about the $168 billion that the corporations that send jobs overseas, the tax cuts that they get, you know. But the main thing that I want to talk about is what we are going to do. You know, we as the people. My members have been more mobilized than they ever have. And I think you guys seen that with Senate Bill 5. And we're ready to do it again. And we want to see the same thing come from folks like you.
Amen.
It takes the people, just like he showed this woman right here, you know. And AFSCME people means public employees organized to promote legislative equality. And this here means us to mobilize to support legislative equality. And that's what I like to see here, and I hope that's what comes out of this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Powerful words. Next, we have someone from Stand Up for Ohio. Are they here? Stand Up for Ohio? Yes. She was sitting down.
She's also representing Stop the Violence movement.
Okay, yeah.
Several other movements.
Hi, good morning. My name is Darita Davis. I am the president of the Stop the Violence Akron movement. I also am a member of Stand Up for Ohio for good jobs and strong communities. We just recently went on a social justice bus tour across the state of Ohio. We went to 8 cities protesting on different issues that are negatively affecting our communities. So if it was jobs, if it was returning citizens, if it was, we went to a mayoral candidate forum. We also supported down in Cincinnati, it was a immigration reform that we were supporting. So we protested in each different city. It was community benefits agreements, whatever it was all about saving and doing what's right for our community. So with that said, I have to go ahead and piggyback off of what Sherrod Brown said. By me representing the violence community and the anti-violence movement and trying to save our city and doing what's best to heal our community, when we don't have jobs for people and that means we don't give them a hope or a dream. If we don't have programs like the SNAPS program, and when people fall upon their luck, they're not able to get any assistance, then what are they going to do? They're going to resort to violence, because violence and economics is directly connected, and that means we need to do something about that. I need to give my own personal testimony real fast. I was working for the YMCA, and YMCA decided to end their contract with Akron Public Schools. Well, I'm expecting. And so what will happen to me if I can't receive some type of benefits to help me and my new unborn child? So we have to look at that, because these are real life issues. This is a real life situation. And we need to continue to stand up and fight and protest. We ended our social justice bus tour in Columbus, and we went to Keith Faber's office, and we wanted to just let him know that education, jobs, all those things are important. Putting things in our community that is going to help our people, to help the community, help the citizens. Being a voice of change and standing up and doing something. So that's what we're all here doing today. We are the voice of change. We are a voice for the voiceless, and we're going to continue to fight to do what we have to do to save our communities and heal our families. And I'm also running for Ward 10 City Council, so please be on the lookout for Darita Davis. Thank you.
Next, we're going to hear from Greg Coleridge of Northeast Ohio American Friends. And also, I'd like to ask, where is the sign-up sheet for the rest of the individuals? Because I need it. Okay, thanks.
Well, thank you. I'd like to first begin by thanking Pastor Butcher for use of the facility and opening it to us and being so gracious in working with us. Second, especially would like to thank those representatives who are here today, the aides. You know, none of us like to be here today. It's June 1st, folks. It's halfway decent. This is Ohio. The weather is nice, only a couple of months during the year. All of us could be doing something much more pleasurable, could we not, than this? And that goes for us, that goes for me, and I know it goes for the aides, who I'm sure would like to be doing something else. So appreciate, genuinely, we should all be very appreciative and acknowledge those representatives who have sent aides today and those who have not. Let's be mindful of that. And I would particularly like to lift up, not to be picky here, but Representative Renacci. We called his office. I called his office probably 4 or 5 times and didn't even get a call back, giving a perfunctory, you know, he can always make something up if people are busy. They didn't even do that. So if you are in the district of Renacci, Representative Renacci, please voice your displeasure that he couldn't even give us the